Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to define our length. So this is the one intrinsic function we almost always let you use. So let's assume we have some data. With several numbers in it. So we define our length. And then we need to initialize our sum. So what is the difference between initialize and pre-allocate? So somebody said something. Yeah. Yeah, and what does pre-allocate mean? Yeah, exactly. So pre-allocate is like creating a certain amount of space, right? And then initialize is just make that variable name known to MATLAB. So yeah. So we're going to call this my sum, not to confuse it with the computer's sum. That's one thing I think people need to be careful. I've seen that a lot of times when you use a MATLAB function, you redefine it. Like if you say max equals something and then you try and find the maximum, MATLAB will say that it doesn't work because you redefined that max function as something else. I also saw it with text. Some people did text equals something and then tried to use the text function, or find sometimes, or input. Those are all ones a lot of times that you don't want to use as variables if you're going to use that function later on. So we initialized our sum, and now we have our loop. Okay, so now in the sum, what do we want to do to my sum? Exactly. So then we'll do my mean. This is another one instead of using the MATLAB function. So my mean is going to be my sum divided by n. Yes. So we have completed step one. So we wrote our own MATLAB average function. So step two was to create this sum, if you recall. So we don't want that getting in our code. We'll comment it out. So step two, we need to do this sum initialization again. So you couldn't use my sum again. I usually try not to repeat variables in case I need to check what was happening up here. So I'm going to call mine my new sum. So we're going to initialize that. And then we're doing the same thing. And now my new sum. Okay, so this is a little bit different. Well, we know that it has this because we're making a sum plus. So what do we want to have? What do we want to be adding to our new sum each time? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay, so x of I minus my, oh boy, I'm running out of room. Let's put this down here. X of I minus, is that right? Yes, my mean. And we don't actually need a dot for our square because these are both scalar numbers. So that looks right. And then we end. And now that was our second sum, right? So we have completed this step. So that is going to be step two. So our step 3 was to calculate the standard deviation. Maybe we should put some more letters in there, huh? Okay. Unfortunate. Okay. So, any thoughts? We just write out the formula exactly, right? So we have, what did you say? My 1 divided by n. So we'll write it on MATLAB. 1 divided by n times my new sum to the 0.5. Okay, I'll write it again. Yes, it is n minus 1. So let's do 1 divided by the quantity n minus 1 times my new sum, that whole thing, to the 0.5. So we have just written our our own standard deviation function. Yes, I just got messy over there. Did I miss something? Oh yeah, this is wrong. This should be n minus 1. Now they're the same. We'll just cross this out. So, this is step 3. So, you can think about what other steps you need to write a correlation coefficient. I think that's pretty much everything I had to cover today. We have more time. Yeah, any questions? Okay, well, we have more time. If you are done and want to go, you're welcome to go. And I will stay for 10 minutes and review functions.